Hey YouTube, I'm the Tall Nerd. Welcome back. Today I want to talk about stress and really negative emotions as a whole. I'll get to, fiction and the normal nerdy stuff that I always talk about in a minute, but just hear me out. Now, stress is something that we're all familiar with. It's something that we all deal with on a daily basis, to some degree or another. And we all have our particular ways of dealing with it. For some of us, it's hobby. Some of us, we just need to break down and cry for a little while, and then we feel better. But thinking about these things reminded me of this clip.
Look, Stella, that is Ted's favorite movie of all time. He watches it when he's homesick with the flu. He watches it on rainy Sunday afternoons in the fall. He watches it on Christmas Eve. Ted watches Star Wars in sickness and in health, in good times and in bad.
Now that's Marshall from How I Met Your Mother explaining to his best friend Ted's fiancée, Stella, just how important it is that she like Star Wars because of how important it is to Ted. But really the thing that I took away from it is that, I feel like personally, we all have that one thing, that movie, TV show, anime, manga, book, comic, whatever it is, that just feels right to us. It doesn't necessarily perk us up every single time that we consume it, but it just feels right, and it just kind of helps balance us emotionally. Or at least that's the experience that I've had every time that I realize that I can't do everything. I can't do it all on my own. I'm not Superman. And for me, that series, that sort of balancing factor, is Scrubs. So in case you're not familiar with it, Scrubs is a sitcom that ran from 2001 to 2009. Or 2010. I'll get to that in a second. It follows the life of John J.D. Dorian as he just navigates his first few years as a doctor at Sacred Heart Hospital. And it's a wild, zany series, full of laughs, and also full of a lot of really touching, really emotional moments. Which is definitely not something that I expected the first time I watched it. Scrubs is definitely my favorite show of all time, which is kind of funny because I'm sure that there are plenty of other shows that have better writing or better performances at points. There are some pretty awesome ones in Scrubs. Or maybe better cinematography or just whatever else from a technical viewpoint, but just, I don't know, there's something that just resonates with me, something that just feels right when I watch Scrubs. I mean, when I'm having a bad day, I turn on an episode of Scrubs, and if it's a particularly funny episode, then it lifts my spirits, and if it's a more touching, emotional episode where things go wrong, then I realize that, you know what, hey, sitcoms are supposed to be fun and lighthearted, and if even these characters are having a tough time, then I'm doing okay. Either way, it makes me feel better, and if I'm happy, it still makes me even happier, or it just helps me connect with these characters. And I'm sure that there are other series that do that, and I'm sure that there are other series that do it really well. But for me, it's Scrubs that will always stay with me. And this is going to sound really cheesy, but no matter what sort of mental or emotional state I'm in, I feel like I can always go to Sacred Heart and have a good time and just relax and feel better at the end of it. And that's really all there is to it. It just makes me feel good. And I love that. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm getting down on myself or getting down on just like my life, making it sound like something terrible and tragic has happened. It really hasn't. It's just been a bunch of little things building up over the last week or two where, there's so much to get done, so much to do. There's always something else that I ought to be working on. Just a lot of busy hecticness that's just kind of gotten to me a little bit. And so it's made me realize that, I need that kind of decompressing influence in my life. And Scrubs is a great one, at least for me. So if you don't know what I'm talking about with this whole, having your series, the thing that you identify with, the thing that just sets everything right in your mental space, I encourage you to go out and find it. Just keep consuming media. Keep finding new things to experience, and maybe it won't even be a piece of media. Maybe it'll be rock climbing, or maybe it'll be running, or maybe it'll be something else. But I just encourage you to get out there and find the thing that makes you happy. Find the thing that that centers you and makes you feel good. And do it. And if it's something popular, cool. If it's something not popular, awesome. Just do it. If it makes you feel good, go for it. That's what I say. All right, now that's all I really have to say about that. So before I go, it's time for me to do my spotlight. So what would you do if you woke up one day, went out to play Little League Baseball, like you do sometimes, against your wishes, mind you, and by the end of the day, you've run into a bunch of little fairy creatures who told you that a magic oyster has declared you the hero that's going to save the world. By the way, all of the multiverse hinges on baseball. It's the most important thing out there. Civilizations and entire dimensions rise and fall based on baseball. That's kind of the beginning of the craziness that is Summerland by Michael Chabon. I apologize if I mispronounced that. Yeah, it's a weird, weird book. It is very strange, but a lot of fun. There's a lot of folklore and a lot of just different ideas that got thrown together into this book in a really cool way, a really interesting mashup that I never would have suspected. I read this book when I was a bit younger, picked it up recently and just kind of skimmed through it again, and it's still a lot of fun. In fact, I think I enjoyed it more now that I'm a little older, mostly because when I was younger, I couldn't get it through my head that, you know, this whole idea that the world hinges on baseball is, you know, such a ridiculous concept that I really shouldn't take the rest of the book all too seriously either. So that's Summerland by Michael Chabon. It's an interesting read. I suggest you pick it up and try it. And with that, that is everything that I've got for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like. Let me know if you have a series like Scrubs is for me that just brings you home. And hey, until next time, have a great day.